In the realm of unexplained mysteries and alternative approaches to human consciousness, few figures are as polarizing yet intriguing as Dr. Stephen Greer. A trained medical doctor who later turned his attention to the mysteries of unidentified aerial phenomena and extraterrestrial life, Dr. Greer has established himself as a central figure in the movement for peaceful contact with otherworldly civilizations. His work, particularly his development of the CE5 protocols, has attracted thousands of practitioners across the globe who believe they are opening a door to genuine interstellar communication. CE5, which stands for Close Encounter of the Fifth Kind, is presented as a deliberate, human-initiated form of contact with extraterrestrials through consciousness itself. According to Dr. Greer, these practices are not speculative, but a real method for inviting connection with civilizations beyond Earth in a safe, peaceful, and transformative way. The protocol is built on the principle that consciousness is not limited to the human brain, but instead is a universal field that binds together all intelligent life. Through meditation, intention setting, and directed thought, participants align themselves with this field, sending out signals of peace, love, and unity. In turn, this resonance is believed to invite contact. The practice includes visualizations, projecting feelings of healing energy, and focusing on a shared sense of cosmic family. The objective is not simply to call for a sighting of a craft, but to establish mutual understanding and invite extraterrestrials to respond with benevolence and wisdom. What sets this technique apart from traditional sightings is the claim that contact is not only possible, but can be consistent when initiated with conscious intent. People who have engaged in this have reported remarkable experiences: glowing orbs manifesting in the skies, flashes of light that appear in direct response to meditation, and even multidimensional entities that reveal themselves in photographs. These encounters are described as peaceful and awe-inspiring, often leaving participants with a sense of deep spiritual transformation. Many practitioners speak of an elevated awareness, as though they have touched something beyond the ordinary boundaries of human experience. The photographs that have emerged from these sessions are particularly striking. Participants claim that mysterious figures often appear in the images: beings of light, translucent forms, or humanoid silhouettes that seem to exist just beyond the visible spectrum. These anomalies are interpreted as manifestations of extraterrestrial or multidimensional life responding to the invitation of contact. In some cases, groups have reported seeing orbs descend to ground level, move silently among them, and then vanish without a trace. The lack of sound, the suddenness of the appearance, and the intelligent behavior of these objects defy conventional explanations and strengthen the conviction that CE5 is genuine. Dr. Greer emphasizes that this session is not just about the spectacle of seeing a craft in the sky. At its heart, the practice is about the evolution of human consciousness. He teaches that humanity is at a pivotal moment in its history, standing on the threshold of joining a larger interstellar community. To take this step, humans must first demonstrate that they are capable of peaceful intent, cooperative spirit, and a willingness to transcend fear. CE5 is, in this sense, a form of training, teaching individuals and groups how to cultivate the mindset required for safe and meaningful contact. The practice also challenges conventional notions of communication. Whereas humans rely on spoken language, CE5 suggests that advanced civilizations communicate through consciousness itself, transmitting thought, emotion, and energy directly. This telepathic form of interaction bypasses the barriers of language and culture, allowing for instantaneous and profound connection. Many practitioners have reported receiving impressions, visions, or streams of knowledge during their sessions, as though information was being shared directly into their awareness. These experiences often include messages of environmental stewardship, the dangers of human conflict, and encouragement to evolve spiritually. Dr. Greer has been clear that the success of CE5 depends on the sincerity of the participants. Those who approach the practice with fear, aggression, or skepticism are unlikely to experience results. Instead, the key lies in approaching the process with openness, humility, and a genuine desire for peaceful contact. In this way, CE5 is not only a method of reaching out to extraterrestrials, but also a profound form of inner work. Participants must confront their own doubts, release their anxieties, and align themselves with the higher ideals of compassion and unity. The reports from these groups around the world are remarkably consistent. From remote deserts to quiet mountain valleys, participants describe orbs of light materializing in response to their meditations, sometimes hovering silently for minutes before fading into the night sky. In other cases, beams of light are seen descending from above, or luminous shapes appear just beyond the visible horizon. In rare but striking instances, beings of light have been reported approaching the group, appearing humanoid but radiant, their forms shimmering as though composed of energy rather than matter. These encounters are often accompanied by overwhelming feelings of peace, love, and interconnectedness. Skeptics often dismiss such reports as misinterpretations of natural phenomena, camera glitches, or the result of heightened imagination. However, the sheer volume of consistent testimonies, combined with photographic and video evidence, has made CE5 difficult to ignore. For practitioners, the experiences are not only real, but life-changing. Many describe feeling as though their worldview has been permanently expanded and that they now see humanity as part of a vast, interconnected cosmic family. What makes CE5 particularly compelling is its accessibility. Unlike traditional UFO sightings, which occur spontaneously and unpredictably, CE5 is presented as a repeatable method that anyone can try. Groups have formed across the globe, from small gatherings of friends to large, organized retreats. Each follows the same core principles of meditation, visualization, and intention, and many report extraordinary results. The growing popularity of CE5 has led to a community of practitioners who share their experiences, photographs, and insights, creating a collective body of evidence that continues to expand. Dr. Greer believes that these practices are preparing humanity for a greater disclosure. He has long argued that governments and military institutions have hidden knowledge of extraterrestrial presence for decades, keeping humanity in the dark about its place in the cosmos. CE5, he says, bypasses these structures of secrecy by empowering ordinary people to make contact directly. By doing so peacefully and consciously, humans demonstrate their readiness to join a broader community of civilizations that operate not through domination, but through cooperation and mutual respect. Critics may question the validity of these claims, but the impact on those who practice CE5 cannot be denied. Participants speak of healing old wounds, overcoming fear, and gaining a renewed sense of purpose. For many, CE5 is not just about extraterrestrial contact, but about reconnecting with the deeper aspects of their own humanity. In reaching out to the stars, they rediscover the capacity for love, peace, and unity that lies within themselves. Photographs from these sessions, showing glowing entities, ethereal beings, and mysterious lights, serve as visual reminders that something extraordinary may be unfolding. For believers, these images are not coincidences or technical glitches, but evidence of a hidden reality making itself known. Each picture becomes a piece of the larger puzzle, suggesting that humanity's role in the cosmos is far greater than previously imagined. Dr. Greer's work has faced criticism, skepticism, and controversy, but it has also inspired countless individuals to explore consciousness in new ways. CE5 stands as a bridge between the spiritual and the extraterrestrial, between the inner journey of meditation and the outer mystery of the cosmos. It asks people to expand their awareness, to embrace peace, and to dare to believe that humanity is not alone. In the end, the significance of CE5 may lie not only in the encounters themselves, but in the transformation it brings to those who practice it. By fostering peace, unity, and expanded consciousness, CE5 prepares humanity for a future where contact with extraterrestrial civilizations is not a cause for fear, but an opportunity for growth and connection. Whether through glowing orbs, multidimensional entities, or silent communication across the stars, CE5 offers a vision of a future where humanity takes its place within a larger cosmic community, one bound together by consciousness, peace, and love. DMT, a powerful psychoactive compound found in certain plants and synthesized for use in laboratories, has fascinated scientists, psychonauts, and spiritual seekers alike for decades. Known for inducing intense otherworldly experiences, DMT is famous for producing vivid hallucinations in users, often involving encounters with strange, mystical entities such as elves, aliens, or other non-human beings. The phenomenon of seeing these beings during DMT trips has puzzled researchers and users alike, raising questions about the nature of consciousness, the mind, and reality itself. Why do people frequently report seeing these entities, and what might it reveal about the brain, human perception, and even the possibility of other dimensions or realms? DMT is a naturally occurring compound found in a variety of plants and animals, including humans. It is classified as a tryptamine, a class of compounds that are structurally related to serotonin, a neurotransmitter that plays a crucial role in mood, cognition, and perception. When smoked or ingested, DMT is rapidly metabolized, producing a brief but incredibly intense hallucinogenic experience that typically lasts around 5 to 15 minutes. During this time, users report vivid visuals, distortions in time and space, and most intriguingly, encounters with intelligent, autonomous entities. To understand why people experience these visions, it's essential to first look at what happens in the brain during a DMT experience. When DMT is introduced into the brain, it binds to serotonin receptors, which is heavily involved in regulating sensory perception and cognition. This receptor's activation is thought to be responsible for the profound changes in perception and the sense of reality that users report while under the influence of DMT. In essence, DMT disrupts the brain's normal filtering of sensory information, opening the floodgates to what users describe as alternate realities or dimensions. One of the most fascinating and consistent features of the DMT experience is the encounter with strange, sentient beings. These entities are often described as elves, aliens, machine elves, or even gods, and they appear to have a distinct intelligence, autonomy, and purpose. What's even more striking is that people from diverse cultural backgrounds and personal beliefs report similar experiences, suggesting that these entities are not simply the product of personal imagination or expectation. Users describe these entities as playful, curious, or even mischievous, while others perceive them as wise, ancient, and benevolent. Some entities seem to impart profound knowledge, offer cryptic messages, or guide users through strange landscapes or realms that feel distinctly different from ordinary reality. These experiences are often so powerful and immersive that users come away convinced that what they encountered was real in some way, not merely a hallucination. From a scientific perspective, the most straightforward explanation for these experiences is that they are products of the brain's altered state during a DMT trip. The brain is a pattern recognition machine, and when DMT disrupts normal sensory processing, it may create a state of hyperassociation. In this state, the brain is scrambling to make sense of a flood of unfamiliar sensory information, leading to the creation of complex, anthropomorphic entities. These beings may arise from the brain's attempt to organize and interpret the overwhelming input in a way that feels coherent, even if what is being perceived is highly abstract or chaotic. This explanation aligns with what we know about how the brain processes reality under normal conditions. Our brains constantly filter sensory information to present a cohesive picture of the world. When this process is disrupted, as it is during a DMT experience, the brain may struggle to maintain the same boundaries between self and other, subject and object, leading to the perception of distinct, independent beings. In this view, the elves and entities are not real in the traditional sense, but rather manifestations of the brain's altered function under the influence of a powerful psychedelic. Another compelling explanation comes from psychology, particularly the theories of Carl Jung and the concept of the collective unconscious. Jung proposed that certain symbols, archetypes, and experiences are shared across humanity and reside deep within the unconscious mind. These archetypes are often expressed in dreams, myths, and religious experiences, and can manifest as gods, demons, or other supernatural beings. The entities seen on DMT trips may tap into these deep-seated archetypes, which explain why many people report similar types of beings, such as elves or alien-like figures. The DMT experience might unlock these archetypal figures, bringing them to the forefront of consciousness during the trip. In this sense, the beings may represent aspects of the human psyche that are typically hidden from conscious awareness, but become accessible under the extraordinary conditions created by DMT. While psychological and neurological explanations offer plausible insights, there are also more esoteric interpretations of the DMT experience. Some users and researchers believe that DMT opens a gateway to other dimensions or planes of existence, allowing users to interact with entities that genuinely exist beyond our ordinary perception. In this view, the brain under the influence of DMT is not merely hallucinating, but is instead tuning into a different frequency of reality, much like a radio picking up new stations. Proponents of this theory often draw on ideas from quantum physics and consciousness studies, which suggest that reality may be far more complex and multidimensional than we can perceive under normal circumstances. DMT, they argue, provides access to these hidden dimensions, and the beings encountered are actual denizens of these realms. Whether these entities are extraterrestrial, spiritual, or something entirely different, the theory suggests that they possess a reality independent of the human mind. Many people who have taken DMT report that the experience is far more than just a vivid hallucination or mental trip. Instead, they describe it as being transported to an entirely different dimension, one that feels as real, or even more real, than the reality we experience in our everyday lives. This belief that DMT provides access to another realm has become central to the mystique surrounding the substance, especially among those who encounter the mysterious entities that seem to inhabit this alternate space. These experiences have led some to conclude that, rather than simply creating hallucinations within the brain, DMT allows the mind to perceive and interact with other planes of existence where these entities naturally reside. The dimensional hypothesis is a term often used to describe the belief that DMT doesn't just cause internal hallucinations, but actually shifts one's consciousness into another dimension. For many, this otherworldly place is perceived as having its own distinct reality, complete with environments, structures, and intelligent beings. Unlike other psychedelic experiences that may warp or alter the perception of the world as we know it, DMT is often described as completely breaking with our reality, transporting users to what feels like an entirely new realm with different laws of physics, time, and space. Those who hold to this theory believe that DMT acts like a key, unlocking access to these dimensions by altering the brain's perceptual filters. Normally, they argue, human beings are confined to experiencing only a narrow band of reality, what we can see, hear, and understand through our senses and cognition. DMT, by altering brain chemistry, might allow consciousness to tune into frequencies or layers of existence that are normally inaccessible. In this view, the entities encountered are not merely mental projections, but are actual beings that exist independently in these hidden dimensions. For many users, the encounters with these beings feel distinctly non-human. These entities often appear to have their own agendas, personalities, and knowledge that seem to exist outside the user's own consciousness. This gives credence to the idea that they are not figments of the imagination, but are real inhabitants of this other realm. Some users report that these entities communicate telepathically or impart profound wisdom, which only reinforces the belief that they are interacting with beings far beyond human comprehension. The moment of transition to this other dimension is often described as sudden and overwhelming. Users of DMT report that, within seconds of inhaling the substance, they are propelled out of their bodies and into an entirely different reality. Commonly referred to as breaking through, this experience is described as an instantaneous shift, as if one's consciousness is pulled out of this world and launched into an alien realm. The landscape is often described as geometric, vibrant, and filled with intricate patterns, colors, and symbols that seem too complex to exist in our ordinary reality. In this alternate dimension, the laws of space and time can feel vastly different. Time may seem to stop, stretch out infinitely, or lose all meaning entirely. The spaces encountered may defy traditional geometry, feeling like multidimensional structures or environments where up, down, left, and right lose their typical associations. This radical change in perception often leads to the feeling that the user has entered a space that exists outside of the normal confines of the universe. In these otherworldly settings, users frequently encounter intelligent, autonomous entities. The most famous of these are the so-called machine elves, small, playful, and often mischievous beings that seem to welcome or guide people through the new dimension. These elves are just one example. Others report encountering alien-like beings, geometric shapes with intelligence, or larger godlike figures that radiate knowledge or authority. In many cases, these entities interact with the user, sometimes communicating through symbols, telepathy, or even through the environment itself. One of the most fascinating aspects of DMT trips is the communication that occurs between users and the entities they encounter. While on DMT, many individuals report that they receive messages, instructions, or insights from these beings, often in ways that transcend language. Some describe receiving downloads of knowledge or experiencing an instant understanding of complex concepts that would be difficult to convey in everyday language. The knowledge imparted by these entities can range from deeply personal revelations about life and consciousness to abstract ideas about the nature of reality, the universe, or even spirituality. These experiences often leave users convinced that the entities they meet are not just figments of the mind, but are real, independent beings that possess advanced knowledge. In many cases, the entities are described as guides, helpers, or teachers who are there to assist or impart wisdom. Some people report feelings of overwhelming love or a deep sense of connection with these beings, while others feel as though they have been given access to ancient or universal truths. For those who believe in the dimensional hypothesis, this communication is further evidence that DMT opens the door to a reality beyond our own. The knowledge these entities provide often feels too coherent, meaningful, or specific to be mere hallucinations. Moreover, the consistency with which different users describe similar entities, messages, and environments lends support to the idea that these are not isolated personal experiences, but rather a shared reality that many can access. If DMT does indeed open a doorway to another dimension, as many users believe, the implications are profound. This would suggest that the universe is far more complex than we currently understand, and that multiple layers of reality or existence might be interwoven with our own. The entities encountered during DMT trips could be part of an entirely different dimension that interacts with our reality in ways that are currently beyond scientific understanding. Some theorists have drawn parallels between DMT experiences and ancient mystical traditions. In many cultures, shamans and mystics describe accessing hidden realms and encountering spirits, gods, or other beings that exist beyond the material world. These experiences, often induced through ritualistic use of psychedelics or other mind-altering practices, bear striking similarities to modern DMT trips. The idea that these other dimensions have been part of human consciousness for millennia, only accessible through altered states, is both intriguing and challenging. For scientists and philosophers, the question of whether DMT truly allows access to another dimension or simply creates the illusion of such is still open. The experiences are subjective and difficult to measure objectively, making them challenging to study within the framework of traditional science. However, the consistency and intensity of these encounters continue to inspire curiosity and debate. The experiences of individuals who encounter entities during DMT trips, coupled with the theory that they may be transported to other dimensions, call for more extensive scientific investigation. While these experiences are often dismissed as mere hallucinations by skeptics, their consistency, intensity, and the profound impact they have on users suggest that they may reveal deeper truths about the human mind, consciousness, and even the nature of reality itself. With the right research, DMT could serve as a key to unlocking greater understanding, not just of our own brains, but of the universe and our place within it. Despite the profound nature of DMT experiences, research into the compound has been limited, partly due to the legal restrictions surrounding psychedelic substances. At the core of this research should be the attempt to understand what happens in the brain during a DMT experience. Advanced neuroimaging technologies, such as fMRI and EEG, have the potential to shed light on how DMT affects brain function, specifically in areas related to perception, cognition, and the processing of sensory information. By studying how DMT interacts with brain receptors, researchers could gain insights into how the mind creates reality and how consciousness operates. It could reveal how the brain generates the perception of alternate realities, or, as some believe, taps into dimensions that exist beyond ordinary human awareness. Additionally, the entities that people encounter during DMT trips present a fascinating area for exploration. Studies could examine the psychological and neurological mechanisms behind these encounters to better understand whether these beings are archetypal symbols embedded deep in the human psyche or representations of something external. Understanding this phenomenon might provide answers to age-old questions about the nature of consciousness and whether it can perceive realms beyond physical reality. One of the most intriguing aspects of DMT is its potential to offer insights into consciousness itself. Consciousness remains one of the greatest mysteries in science and philosophy, with no clear consensus on how it arises from the brain or why we experience the world subjectively. The way DMT disrupts normal perception and cognition provides an opportunity to study consciousness in its rawest form, stripped of its everyday filters and defenses. By examining how DMT alters consciousness, scientists could gain insights into the fundamental processes that shape our experience of reality. The consistent reports of otherworldly dimensions and intelligent entities suggest that DMT may allow us to access aspects of consciousness that are normally hidden or suppressed.